I'm Libby Cornish from Decadent Alternatives. Welcome to my online gluten-free baking classes. In this video, we're going to be doing braiding bread or braiding the dough. First of all, I want to show you some of the finished product before I actually braid it. Because you might say, well, why would we want to braid bread? Well, I think it always looks pretty anyway. So I have some dough I'm going to braid, and that one is the old golden flaxseed Baker's Magic. This is the current one made with the brown flaxseed, and this one is the golden flaxseed with a little bit of purple maize flour in it. But I have made and baked some of the braids that I've done. This one is a little plait, and we'll cut into it later. I have done two sort of just basically twirls, with the difference between them is that I put egg wash on the strips before I twisted them for this one, and I put it on after I had twisted it. What happens with egg wash is that egg wash helps stick pieces of dough together. So I use egg wash to stick the when I'm rolling up croissants, and in this case you can actually see that there's not much of a gap between the different colors, whereas in this one you can see that there is a little bit of a ridge. Does it matter? Not really. It's a personal preference. The dough that I have actually used to make this, I've added in an egg. It's actually this particular one that I've used, because I was experimenting a bit, is a brioche style dough. It has a lot of butter in it, an egg, and for the golden flaxseed blend, I put in a little bit of psyllium husk just to make sure that the dough was the same consistency. That's one of the things that is important if you are braiding bread and you are using different colours and adding in different coloured flours, that you want to make sure that your dough is the same consistency when it comes to actually braiding it. The other thing I did is I braided another. This essentially what I've done is I've braided two of these and squashed them into a tin. I then, because it is brioche and brioche is usually a sweetbread, I put maple syrup over in the dough and let it rise up, so you can see the maple syrup down the bottom of the bread. And and by the way, these are all sourdough, and the reason I did all sourdough for these is that my yeast supply is running very low, and the local supermarket doesn't have any in stock. So I thought, I have Arthur, I'll use Arthur. And you should get different coloured layers in there. It's I did put egg wash over the top, so you don't get too many distinct lines between each of the colours. Okay, so how do you braid bread or braid the dough? Well, basically you'll know that when you first make the dough up, it is really sticky, so that you're not going to be able to braid it then. So the best thing to actually do is wait, say 15 minutes for the dough to start getting harder, then cut it up and roll it out into rolls. Like this. These ones I have proved for a little bit, and then I've taken them outside. Because they've got a lot of butter in them, they are really quite hard. But what it means is that you can actually manipulate them. So if you want to braid, move them closer together, and then it's like, well, for me, this one is like plaiting, and it is being gentle. You can plait them over, come back to the other, at the other end, when you've finished plaiting them, plaiting here, come back to the other end to fix it up. And I'm not sure whether I'm doing this right, but anyway. So plaiting like that. When it comes back to the other end, I then tidy it up a little bit more and try to work out which way I have done things. No, I haven't done that right, but anyway. Then what I usually do is push the dough together. You can tie off or put those ends together and then tie them off with, or put a bit of egg wash over the top and bake it in a relatively cool oven. Or when I say relatively cool, it's about 160 degrees. Because of the amount of butter and eggs in there, it gets very, it can burn quite easily. Thank you.